Now, BT has admitted that it secretly monitored customers' internet surfing activity in trials of new software back in 2006 and 2007. Channel 4 News at Noon first reported this story a month ago after being contacted by a concerned consumer. The data protection watchdog is investigating this possible breach of the law, which could have affected thousands of BT customers. Here's our money reporter, Bridgerton Zeku.
Stephen Mainwaring from Weston-super-Mare is one very angry BT customer. Last year, after noticing strange goings-on his computer, he contacted his internet service provider, BT, who told him he had a virus. But in fact, it was nothing of the kind. He'd been part of a secret BT trial to track customers' surfing behaviour.
I run a lot of online sort of virus scans, all the latest updates and things. I even went out and bought a brand new PC. And the brand new PC, as soon as I plugged it in, started coming up with this problem. And BT kept insisting it was a virus. And it's not, it turns out they were doing secret tests, secret trials.
The technology used was developed by a company called Form. Their software uses anonymous data gleaned from surfing activity and matches relevant adverts to people's interests. Form claims it's a major benefit both to consumers and advertisers. But BT is now accused of spying and has admitted it didn't tell its customers what it was doing.
It was individuals who suspected that this was happening to them, who then confronted BT, and BT prevaricated for a very long time. It is only now at the beginning, early months of 2008, that BT have admitted that that's what they were actually doing. Frankly, that was disgraceful by BT to have done it. It would be a huge, huge diminution of our rights as individuals if this whole system is allowed to go ahead without us all being given the opportunity to opt in or opt out.
The act of anonymising the surfing history of someone is itself processing personal data. So, and someone is doing that, whether it's the ISP or Form, that the data which is personal data is being anonymised, and that act is a processing, and I think there's a good argument actually that that is a breach of the act.
Stephen Mainwaring is upset that BT hasn't apologised and is considering how best he can get a full explanation about what happened.
I'm pretty sure that it will be a matter reported to the police local high-tech crime unit because BT are refusing to answer key questions. I don't think they'll refuse to answer questions from the police.
This is not just a question of whether customers' right to privacy may have been breached. It's also a sign of a deep-set problem within the internet service provider business. Some BT rivals like Carphone Warehouse are giving away broadband free with phone packages. So selling targeted advertising may provide a lucrative way of generating much-needed revenue. The trouble is, many customers are nervous that it amounts to snooping on them. The admission by BT that it has tracked customers' internet surfing will only increase those concerns. Bridgerton Zeku, Channel 4 News at BT headquarters.
Well, just before we came on air, I spoke to BT's head of value-added services, Emma Sanderson, and I asked her if BT were going to offer Stephen Mainwaring, the customer featured in our report, an apology.
We have tried to make contact with Mr Mainwaring, but have not been able to do so.
Have you tried to make contact to give him an apology?
Well, to understand better the issue that he has flagged to you.
Well, the issue is that he was part of this trial that you didn't ask his permission on, and that when he contacted BT, he was told that there was absolutely no reason for him to be seeing this particular thing on his computer, and that he probably had some spyware on his system.
Well, BT has said that we conducted 2 small-scale technical tests of an advertising prototype. Both lasted a couple of weeks, one at the end of 2006 and one at the end in June 2007.
Without anyone's permission?
We had not contacted customers in advance about those tests.
So you didn't ask their permission?
Well, at the time, customers were randomly selected to participate in those trials. I must stress they were completely anonymous. No personally identifiable information was stored or processed.
But you didn't ask their permission, did you? That's pretty fundamental.
We did not contact customers about these tests in advance.
So why did you tell customers who then got in touch with your help desk that they probably had spyware on their system rather than the truth, which was that you were spying on them?
Well, my understanding is that we had a couple of customers literally contact our help desks at the time. Clearly, one of the purposes whenever we're introducing a new technology is for us to ensure that it is robust and fit for purpose and that it doesn't impact on customer experience.
Had you told your help desk people that this was going on? I mean, were they lying, or were they just ignorant
No, absolutely
of what you were
not.
doing?
As I say, I'm aware of a couple of customers contacting our help desk. It was invisible to virtually all other customers, but the help desk had not been briefed on this simply because it was such a small-scale technical test.
On what basis do you think this was legal?
We've conducted extensive research, sought extensive legal advice, both internal and external, over the last 2 years. And we got legal advice before conducting both of these tests.
So you're sure that it was legal, even though there are clear worries that you've broken the Data Protection Act?
Clearly there are different opinions. I've heard in the news today some people saying they feel it is illegal, but as I said, we have sought our own external and internal legal advice and did so before doing these 2 trials.
OK, where did you conduct the trials so that people know whether they were affected by it?
Well, we conducted both of these trials were on internet exchanges, but it's not limited to any one particular geography because
so
it
could be all over the country, basically, that people were affected.
Because of the way BT manages its network to make it as efficient as possible, it could have been from a variety of different locations. However, I must stress that both of these trials were of really small, a small fraction of a percent of our customer base. So, but yes, it could have been from a range of different geographies.
Are you going to offer Stephen Manwaring compensation for the worry
as I said,
that you
we've tried to make contact with Mr. Mainwaring to better understand.
I know, but you're not answering the question, which is, are you going to offer him compensation for the worry that you caused him? He even went out and bought a new computer.
I can't comment on Mr. Mainwaring's case until I've had a chance to talk to him.
Why not?
Because I need to get the facts of his particular case.
So, but is it your intention to offer customers compensation?
I don't think generally we will need to offer customers compensation. As I said, what I'm here to do is to reassure them these were small-scale tests that were completely anonymous. There was no personally identifiable information stored, shared, disclosed. We are planning on a further test of this service later in April. It will be completely optional. We are looking for about 10,000 volunteers, and that's how we will be taking this forward.
Emma Sanderson from BT.